should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
We're back. Welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda. That is Abby. We're covering all things the original OG 90 Day Fiancé, Season 12, Episode 2, Trusting the Process. And oh, what a process it is. Overall thoughts of this episode?
I love everything about every single person on this cast. I have so much love for them, like love immigration. Okay. Oh, I cracked myself up.
Let's jump right in. Shay, 54. You know, his fiance is Annabelle, who's also 54. And they open the scene with him and his two dogs. And he is cleaning the house to the best of his ability because he says that Annabelle is a clean freak and doesn't like to have dog hair and all this stuff all over the place. And he is going to be picking her up this same day in St. Louis. And he's worried because, you know, he's cheated on her, you guys. That's what's happened. He's cheated on her. His ex, Nicole, is threatening to out him. And he's worried that Nicole's going to say, hey, listen, this guy's not who you think he is. He's cheated on you. But in his mind, it's not cheating. And this is the question and the conversation that we started to have the other day, where out of sight, out of mind. So he feels like because she's not physically in the same city as him, that she's not cheating. What are your thoughts on that, Abby?
I mean, in addition to that, he also just thinks like kissing somebody at the lake is just a kiss the lake. Like that doesn't mean anything whether you're here, there, or anywhere in the world. So he just doesn't have very good, I was gonna say morals. That's not morals. He doesn't have very good what? Respect?
Or boundaries, right? Like
doesn't have very good respect or boundaries, because we don't hear him saying, I don't care if she's kissing other people at the lake. I don't care if she's cheating on me with somebody else. So he just has what appears to be a very chauvinistic mindset. But you know what? It just goes with it goes with the culture. Okay. It goes with the redneck. It goes with who he is. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's not cheating, then why are you hiding it? That's my question. If it's not cheating, then why are you worried that you're going to be outed? Exactly. Silver Lining says he knows it's wrong or he wouldn't hide it. That's exactly it. Like, you wouldn't be worried about it if you weren't doing anything wrong. Period.
Right.
But he just feels like Nicole is trying to break up his marriage. And I mean, Nicole has some issues for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that she still wants to be with him. But again, if you weren't doing anything, there would be no dirt for you to be worried about.
Correct. But it's not like Annabelle's going to leave him if she finds out, because she already found out some things and didn't leave him. So, oh well.
Yeah, I don't think she will either. So I don't. This is like some wild stuff, y'all. He's the catch. Really? I don't know. I guess I'm missing it. So y'all fill me in what goes on in Middle America, because if he's like a catch in Middle America, I need you guys to explain to me why. So Annabelle arrives at the airport. There's big hugs, big kisses. There's crying because, you know, they haven't seen each other in 2 years, you guys, 2 years. And I laughed at this because it reminded me of OG Nicole and Azan, where she's like, his body is big again. We're going to need to go for some walks. And if you guys remember Azan and Nicole going up the pyramid.
He said she's a little bit big. Need to walk and eat vegetables.
Um, and then she's a little like open with her sexuality. So she says she can't wait to kiss this, and she grabs his eggplant. And I literally said, "Oh my God, that is so like we just met you 5 seconds ago. What's happening?" And then she goes on to say, "I'm going to use this later." And again, I was like, oh, her intrusive thoughts are spilling out of her mouth. And I don't know. I'm here for it, kind of.
Yeah, I love to hear older ladies talk about having an active sex life and going after what they want. I don't even think these are intrusive thoughts. I think these are just normal things that she would say out of her mouth.
Yeah, kind of here for it. They're driving from St. Louis, and the St. Louis Arch is in the background, and he says, "This is the gateway to your new life here." Okay. I rate hugs. What up? Becca Silver Linings, John Washer. What up? Then they end up at this Gothic Heights Inn, which was a former Methodist church that they turned into a hotel. And I just thought that was a very interesting choice to have your first night of intimacy.
Yeah, because they're in a major city, not where he lives, but where he picked her up from. So he could have chosen a nice Four Seasons, but I guess he was going for something unique where it would be easy to film. I was going to ask you if this potentially a production choice to make it easier, because they said that it's only 4 rooms in that church, 4 hotel rooms.
I think they got to film for free, and in exchange, this Gothic Heights Inn got the publicity. And also, juxtaposing it to like, y'all are gonna get it on in the church, right? Just TLC being messy as per usual. They get to the hotel, and this is her thing, I guess. She bathes him, so she gets him she runs the bath water, she gets him in the tub, she calls him a sexy man, and she says she's gonna clean his eggs, his other part, his butt, his eggplant, because she does not like bad smells, and especially on the eggplant portion of it. So she bathed him. And the part that grossed me out is that she bathed him. She went in all the crevices and all the parts that she just, mentioned, and then took that same rag and washed his face. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But before she even got there, I was like, what is going on with his skin? Is this a skin cancer issue?
I said that to you guys the first episode. I said, what's going on with the back of his legs? Like, what's going on? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it's diabetes.
Oh, is that how it turns out?
Doesn't it always like discolor people's necks when they have diabetes? I'm not super familiar with it. It doesn't run in my family. It's one of the only things that we don't have.
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know, because then they started talking about pooping and washing him after he poops, and I was like, none of this is attractive to me. And
I don't know. It was just causing images I didn't want to think about. Like when he was like, "Oh, toilet paper's enough," I was thinking about his little T-Rex arms trying to wipe his ass. Like, I don't want to think about that.
Also, this must be an issue in their relationship, because if she feels like she constantly has to clean him, she's obviously experienced something that she doesn't like. And so she's turned it into some weird like routine that they do. Like before she can get with him, she wants to clean him.
Right.
Becca says he can't reach.
Because he has T-Rex arms. But Jennifer Lewis said, like, I don't know if you ever read her book, The Black Mother of Hollywood. It's actually a really good book. But in there, she says that there was like this working woman in her neighborhood. I can say prostitute here. Yeah. In her neighborhood, who would gather all the young girls up and give them like little lessons. And one of the lessons was always check the meat. Like never go in blind, never go in with the lights out, always check the meat. So Annabelle is checking it and cleaning it twice.
I mean, it just, I don't know. I just would never date someone that I would have to like do that with. I just feel like, just come clean, you guys. Ugh, ugh. That's all I have for them. Do you want to add anything? Because that's all Shay was bringing to the table today, you guys.
No. But production, the music that they chose to leave out from the church shot, they like, I don't know if production's always been like this and I just wasn't always catching it. But the past couple of seasons that we've watched different shows, production, they've got to have like a bunch of inside jokes with each other.
Oh, 100%. And they're going back to basics. And basics is being messy in the subtlety. And I'm 100%. Katie, woo, y'all. Katie is going to be problematic this season. She's going to be problematic this season. And I literally said, actually, in my note up top, I'm wondering if she perhaps has some some mental health issues that she's medicating with alcohol. Maybe she's not diagnosed with anything, but this need for alcohol situation, I'm just wondering, maybe that could be something, because oftentimes when there is, some mental health issues and people are undiagnosed, that they don't know how to deal with it, so they just drink it away.
Yeah. Becca mentioned that maybe she said it like it's common or it happens with people who have ADHD that they might self-medicate with alcohol. So maybe some of that's going on, but she definitely needs help. I came across her actual Instagram today, and she was opening up her Instagram to questions about OCD only. And she was just saying, I'm only going to answer the respectful questions. So she's open about the OCD diagnosis, which leads me to believe she'd be okay with being assessed for other things. Like she wouldn't be resistant to being assessed for other things, but she definitely has some, whether she has another mental health diagnosis or not, she definitely has issues with feeling wanted. And they haven't told us anything about her family life yet.
100. Yep. I agreed. So they are coming back from the airport and they're singing the national anthem. And my question to you was, do you know the national anthem, Abby?
Of course. Like we had to actually learn it in school. You know the Canadian national anthem?
Of course I do. But I don't.
Yeah. Did you like have to learn it in school, or did you just learn it by chance?
No, we learned it in school.
Yeah, we had to learn it in school. And we also had this one class called civics where we had to learn the preamble to the Constitution. I can't recite it right now.
She sang some of it, but she didn't know all of it. Silver Lining says she knows every word. Oh, you want me to sing "Oh Canada, our home and native land"? Okay, that's all we have time for, because we got to wrap up. I need to do a lot of stuff still today. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that she started singing the national anthem, but she didn't know the whole national anthem. And so I was wondering, as Americans, do you guys actually know the whole national anthem?
I would say probably. I grew up in the South, so it's probably more prevalent for us to learn like the national anthem. Where she grew up in Oregon, I don't think they are as nationalistic and patriotic.
Interesting. Olivia says, watch the hockey games to hear the Canadian anthem. Yes, I will sing the whole thing if y'all want. Let me get my microphone. So Josh is really happy that they reconnected, and he's specifically happy that they have a hotel and they're not sleeping in the car. And my note says he knows her. So he knows exactly who he's dating and her tendency to kind of just be all over the place. And obviously he's accepted it. He goes on to say, because she's eating Cheetos, and I have a feeling she was eating hot Cheetos because her fingers were all like super orange. And he's like, well, those Cheetos smell bad. And she turns and says, well, you smell bad and your mouth smells bad. And Josh is like, she's the bluntest person he knows, and she's like the Tasmanian devil, but in a good way, he says. And he says all this while he's holding this one cake pop, and I was wondering if the cake pop that fell on the ground, Abby. Olivia says Cheetos are not a car snack. So, yeah. He thinks she's a menace, but he also thinks it's comical and in a ridiculous sense of the word. And what I thought, because this is what I saw. So she's trying to be loving to him. She takes those same Cheeto hands that are now also sweaty and caresses his face. And I just had a whole moment, you guys, because I was like, absolutely not.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. And germish. And your hands are already dirty, the dirtiest parts of you anyways. And you just throw in some dirty Cheetos that you had in your mouth. Oh, no. Absolutely not.
No, I mean, like, she left the airport and started eating a snack with her hands.
Mm-hmm.
After her hands were in the airport. You know she didn't wash them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Becca says, I was actually surprised to see how much clarity Joss had about Katie. So whatever happens, his eyes are open.
True. She's definitely not, she's not hoodwinked him.
Nope. She admits that she has problems with her needing to feel wanted. And so she's stressed out about being intimate with him because she needs to feel like he wants her. And he's like, I understand that. And I'm committed to continually reminding you how much I want you, but I need you to commit to stop kissing other people. I understand that it's impulsive and it's part of your insecurity. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit, you guys. Like, there's something deep-seated in her that she has not recognized yet, that she needs to feel wanted by anybody. And I was going to say by the men around her, but we find out a little bit later, it's with anybody, her girlfriends, her guy friends, it's anybody. She needs not only the attention, but she needs to feel wanted. And I'm surprised, 26, that she hasn't dug deeper into why does she feel that way, or what trauma she's holding on to that she feels like this is necessary. And not only feeling needed, the way she feels needed is sexually, right? So she has to sexualize herself for everyone in order for her to feel like she's wanted. And she says sex is important to her, and it is important, but she doesn't feel love if she's not having sex. So not only does she need to be wanted, but she doesn't feel love if she's not having sex. That there's some trauma there, you guys, because love is not just the physical form of love, right? And so love does not also only equate to the physical form of sex. Like, it just, 2 and 2 don't make 4 in this situation. And so I'm concerned about, are we going to be digging deeper into what those issues perhaps are? Because she's not the only one, for sure. Hey, Rhonda. Rhonda's wondering if there is some type of abuse in her history. Maybe. There's something for sure. What were you going to say, Abby?
I also am wondering, maybe I simply missed this phase of life because I got married at 23, but it doesn't seem to me like it would be healthy to have a friend group where you are making out with and being sexual with every person in the friend group. That doesn't seem like a normal dynamic to me.
It's not. I mean, it's not.
How are these people maintaining reasonable friendships? Like, how is that even possible?
Well, I mean, she's the life of the party. That's how they're maintaining it, right? They're keeping it on a lighter note and not digging deeper into it. Silver Lining says she may have shared her background with Josh. That makes him more understanding. Becca says, I do also think it's super common for folks with impulsive control issues to be hypersexual. But again, it seems like she knows. Yeah, so speaking of being hypersexual, they're both tired, so they decide that they're going to in the AM. Those are her words, and they did. And she literally says, I want to feel like this again. Tell me you want me, and reminds him that sex is very important to her. And he's like, yeah, I can go along with this. Before I was really stressed out because on top of my mind was immigration. And for her, she feels like the more sex that they have, the better they will be set up for the next 90 days and for their marriage. And I want to ask Abby your thoughts on the fact that immigration is such a big issue, and the fact that it was affecting, his mental, which affected the physical. Have you seen that? And does that happen often?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even before the current administration, it was something that, people would get very antsy about, the waiting period, asking for additional documents, worried about how they'll perform in interviews. Everybody going into the interview isn't verbose and extroverted. And so having to complete that interview was really difficult for some people who are not prepared for that kind of thing. If they've never had a college experience, they've never had a job interview experience, it's very intimidating. And in the current environment, if you are an immigrant, regardless of which actual country you're coming from, if you're an immigrant who looks a certain way, it could be even more exhausting to think about going through the immigration process, because the people processing the applications, the officers who are conducting the interviews, those are just regular Americans. Mm-hmm. They're not people who have been taught any kind of anti-racism. They've not been taught not to have any xenophobia. They've not been taught not to be sexist. Those are regular people who bring all their biases to work with them. Mm-hmm. And so if you are a person who is not a hetero Christian white male, it increases the amount of nerves people have about going into the interview.
Mm. Really good points. We find out that Katie has made out with 90% of the single men in her run club. And some of that making out has happened while she was with Josh in a relationship. And so it sets the tone for this welcome party that she has put together to welcome Josh to America, because it's all her run club buddies. But she feels like it's hard to resist kissing other people. It's a compulsion at this point, and she recognizes it and says it out loud. However, she doesn't do anything about it. She continues to do it. Josh says that Katie needs to settle down for the stability of it all. And so they show up to My Oh My, which is a pub. And everyone's like, welcome, British Josh. And welcome party. And she sees a couple of people that she's made out with before. And he's like, I have forgiveness, but it's not unlimited. And he realizes what he's walking into. Now, her friends all call her a loose cannon. She's off the rails. Everything's a party, and she has levels of craziness. We meet one of her friends, Mark, who said that he hooked up with her after a week. And then she also hooked up with his roommate. She hooked up with her friend, Bella. She hooked up with the other friend, with Josh, with the girlfriend, everyone there she's hooked up with. And here's where I was like, oh, I thought of you, Abby, because when I said, let's pause, no, I didn't think of you because you hook up with people, Abby. Your face was like, I thought of you because when I said, let's pause last episode about what her whole face looks like, because you said, oh, I guess we don't see whole face the same if she's just kissing people, right? However, we find out that she slept with these people as well. So she slept with Mark, she slept with Josh. So she's actually hooked up with these people. And it's not just kissing. She's just saying kissing because kissing is the gateway to the other things that she's doing. So it is indeed a hoe phase. Which, you know, your body, your choice. But let's recognize that she's saying this while drinking, while acknowledging that it's impulse, while acknowledging its compulsion, while acknowledging that she is sexualizing herself because she needs to feel wanted. So all of these things are factors as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that her friends are comfortable saying that she's a loose cannon, she's off the rails, she's levels of crazy. I don't know about y'all, but like, I'm going to need to have some friends that can recognize the things in me, and call them out, but also help support me to change destructive and toxic behavior. You just calling it out and telling everyone that you think I'm a level of crazy and this and this and this is not helping the situation. And the fact that you guys continue to just party with her because she's entertaining you, and also, dare I say, taking advantage of the fact that you know that she has these compulsions and yet you still hook up with her instead of saying, hey, no, we shouldn't do this because you're only doing this because you're drunk and you're OCD and all of that stuff. Where are those friends?
Right.
Josh feels like, you know, he's talked to Mark and the other friend, and he feels like at some point Katie's gonna have to show a level of commitment to him and to this relationship. And I absolutely agree with him. Like, you can only be so understanding for so long. And
Right.
you know, words acknowledging is one thing, but actions, I'm going to have to see some actions followed by these words, whether that means you look into getting help, whether that means you stop drinking, something. I'm going to need some action.
Right.
What do you want to add?
No, that's it. I'm so excited about this next lady.
We meet Debbie. Debbie's 55 from New Orleans, Louisiana. And her boyfriend, Mido, is 41. He's allegedly an Egyptian movie star, actor / model. What were your thoughts on overall thoughts, first of all, or first thoughts, first impressions?
First impression was maybe we can have a little bit of hold on, where's my a little bit of Debbie back.
Oh, Debbie's back. Yes, love that.
You know, they don't have a giant age gap, but my first impression is that I just don't like Mito. And it has nothing to do with whether he is running any kind of scam on her or not. I do not like the way that he talks to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first impression. However, I also thought perhaps there's something that we're not seeing, because it appears that her daughter was in favor of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
At least initially.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe there's something that we're not seeing, and he truly is just stressed out right now about his family situation. Either way, it's interesting because she's from New Orleans.
Yeah. He did not give me a good first impression either. And we'll get to him shortly. Debbie's an insurance agent, and her job is to bring a new business. She finds it a bit monotonous, the day-to-day of it all. So she likes to do things outside of work. One of those things were going to Egypt. She went 6 years ago, and I'm shocked because, you know, these two have been together for 6 years, you guys. I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 years ago with her daughter, she met, quote, the love of her life, which is Mito. Mito is famous on social media. Everyone in Egypt knows who he is. She's never seen his work, though. I laugh because is there not the equivalent of IMDb over there? I'm sure there is, or Google or something. Like if he's such a big actor in Egypt, you could just Google that thing and find something somewhere, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But she says she's never seen his work and he doesn't want her to see it. He will, quote, show her when he arrives in America. And that to me was a red flag because he's already going to be here. He's probably not a real true actor because, they met, he was their tour guide. And, there's a little bit of acting that goes into that. So he's probably labeling himself an actor because he's acting while he's giving you the tour. I laughed at that. So the first conversation we see them have is a FaceTime. He talks about his pyramid is not finished yet in the background. And I just thought, ooh, no, we're like, no. That I thought that for a minute too. Ryan said, what type of movies is he making if he can't share them with his fiance? That part.
F.
Yep. So yeah, he was the tour guide. Daughter says, oh, he's flirting with you. He's flirting with you. She didn't believe it. But then they were in some pyramid and he kissed her and she was shocked. She was like, is this real? And yes, it was real, allegedly. But the thing is, in this same conversation, he was making sure that she got his headshots and that they would be printed out for him as soon as he arrived because he wants to act in the United States. Now, I don't know about y'all because, a lot of people can play the long game. We've seen this before in 90 Day Fiancé where they play the long game. Had Daniel had the opportunity to play the long game, he would have. There are other people in this franchise that have played the long game, and that's what I'm seeing. Okay, because you're not talking about, hey, I miss you, I love you, I can't wait for us to build this life together. You're talking about, I sent you my headshots. Did you print them out so that I can start looking for work when I get there and be a big movie star? That doesn't give you pause? She's worried because he has told her time and time again that he wants to be an actor and a major movie star in the United States. And, she's in New Orleans. That's not actually the capital of Hollywood. And so he either wants to move to New York or Los Angeles. And she, her life is in New Orleans and her kids are in New Orleans. Now, originally her daughter, Devin, liked him. But now she's questioning this and questioning whether his acting will go anywhere because she says these headshots look like trash. She hates them. They look like Instagram model headshots. I laughed because, he does say he's the model, doesn't specify, so he could be an Instagram model.
They look like those glamour shots we used to get in the mall.
Glamour shots?
They were the way they were like a little hazy, like in the edges, especially. Like it was rampant all across, I guess, like most states. There would be a place in the mall where you could go and you could get like props, you can get like a little outfit, and then you go take these glamour shots where they make them a little bit fuzzed out to make you feel like they're like so good and professional. Like they didn't have the technology back then to actually just like blur you so that you could have like clean, clear skin or whatever. So the whole photo would just be blurred.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And I have one with I'll try to find it and then I'll post it on my YouTube page. But I have one of me and my mom and my sister, and we're doing the oh my God, the James Bond thing, the girl. Yes.
Yeah. Love it.
I'll find it.
Yeah, I love it. Devin wants to know, like, are you willing to move to Hollywood or New York? Because if that's his first priority, that's the wrong priority. His first priority should be with you in the relationship. And then the third red flag that I was seeing was that he doesn't post her on his social media, even though they've been together for 6 years. He says his social media is for work, but he posts with other women, which has been a cause of contention in their relationship. She wants to make sure that their relationship is more important than his dream. And I thought that was a very interesting point. What are your thoughts on that, Abby?
I am a firm believer that if there's something that you want from your partner and your partner is not willing to give you that thing and it's a reasonable request, then they don't care about you. So if it's a reasonable request that, oh, you share your life here, why don't you also share me? And don't say it more than once.
Mm-hmm. Everyone is really in line with your glamour shots. Several lines glamour shots so bad. And Ryan says Charlie Angel's pose.
Yes.
Becca says the Sears family photos. Debbie's also really attached and close to her little bit pretty precious dog, and is worried because Mita says that in the Muslim faith, and I've never heard this, so if you're Muslim and you're out there, can you let me know if this is true? Mita says in the Muslim faith, dogs are dirty and they should not be inside of the house. They should just be outside. Never heard that before. Have you?
I've never heard that either, but I couldn't think of any cast member that we've had in the past that had a dog. I could only remember the ones that had cats. So I haven't had any reason to explore that. So
yeah, interesting to know if that's true or not. And this was another, so it's always the words, you guys. I really pay attention to people's words. And Debbie says that she hasn't lived or shared a bed with a man in 20 years. I just thought that was a very interesting way to say that you haven't been with someone, because you put a qualifier in there. Just interesting to me. Then this is okay, and then okay, you guys. And then she says that Mito has never had sex. He's a virgin. He's a 41-year-old virgin. Devin's like, well, have you guys kissed? Yes, we know they've kissed, right? They kissed at the pyramids. And her friends Astra and Laura, they are going to be the comedic relief. I hope they are throughout the season, because Laura is shocked that they have not had sex. And Debbie's like, why are you so shocked? And she's like, because I'm a slut. I was like, oh, Lord. She says she gives it up on the third date. I died of laughter. Died of laughter. Thought that was hilarious. Interesting. A little bit of debate in the live chat. Olivia says, I think that's just his preference. Never heard that before. And my music, it ends something about dogs. I don't know. She's not heard of that before. But Silver Lining says other 90-day Muslims have said that too. And I can't think of another 90-dayer that said the dogs were dirty, but I believe you.
I mean, they are dirty, but I just didn't know it was part of the religion. But you know what, guys? Those of you who have heard my story about the Frenchman, if you like somebody enough, sometimes you will do things that you would not find yourself normally doing, because that man's dog slept in the bed with us. And Nothing about me says, hey, doggy, come get in the bed with me. I just liked him that much.
I've heard this story, and again, I still have nothing to say about that. So they haven't seen or touched each other in 3 years. So Laura's like, so he's gonna come here and then he's gonna stay in your bed for 90 days and you're not gonna have sex. I love Laura. I love it. Ask the real questions, Laura. And we find out that there's been some trials and tribulations in their relationship. They broke up for a while because he kept posting those pictures with females, specifically this Egyptian actress, on his Instagram, and something didn't feel right. And Astra says, you know, if something doesn't feel right, it's not. And yes, girl, these are the type of friends that Katie needs.
Mm-hmm.
These are the type of friends that they listen because it can get messy, but they also support and tell you what it should be. Period.
Right.
And they go on to ask what's his agenda, and you know she doesn't know, and I guess that's fair enough. But you don't know his agenda. You've been with him for 6 years, and 3 of those years you haven't seen him in real life. And then to throw on that he gets silent sometimes. So like right now you're trying to call him, you can't reach him. He'll go MIA for 2 to 3 days because he doesn't feel like talking to you. Absolutely not. Who was it? Recently, actress. I'm looking at her face now. Anyways, there's an actress recently said, if I text you and I don't hear back from you in 24 hours, absolute blocked. Absolutely not.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I don't know who it is.
Someone's gonna know. So anyways, he goes MIA, and in this current situation, apparently his father's not feeling well, and so he's not answering. And so he finally answers. He says he's not doing well. He's not going to be able, because he's supposed to be on the next flight. He's not going to be coming. He needs another 10 to 15 days. And the way he made it sound, you guys, is he expected her to rebook and pay for a new flight for him to come when he wanted to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can look into it. I was like, oh hell no. These are all red flags. Everything about him is a red flag to me. And I'm telling you right now, just from a K1 immigration perspective, people's coming to America to be an actor, not to be with this lovely 55-year-old who looks amazing, by the way. Looks amazing, could do 1,000% better with someone who actually loves her and wants to be with her. That is my initial impression.
Yeah, so my speculation is that he needs 10 to 15 more days to wrap up some other affairs, not because his father is sick. Because I just feel like if it was about his dad, then it would have been, okay, well, he has this procedure on this day, so I think I'll be able to leave in about 10 days. The prognosis is this or that. But that wasn't the conversation at all.
No, and he was yelling at her like it's her fault. Absolutely not. Right. You can stay right where you are, mister. And if you can scrape it together, then maybe I'll open my doors for you. And maybe I won't.
I mean, this would be the end for me. No matter no matter what's happening in your life, you don't get to make me your punching bag.
That's right. Ryan says Mita's attitude was so stank when she was talking to him on FaceTime. Another red flag. Absolutely.
Exactly. Like, we're supposed to still be in the honeymoon phase of this thing.
Yep. Moving on to Marissa.
Yes, Marissa.
All right, Marissa. She has 50-50 custody. I really am enjoying her, by the way. 50-50 custody for her kids, Derek and Cole. And she talks about just being executive CEO, working in New York City. She does love working in New York City, but she doesn't love the commute or actually living there. She loves being in Pennsylvania. the slower life, the, you know, out in the burbs life, being with her kids and spending time with her family. And this keeps her busy. So you can imagine she runs a company. She has 2 kids. She runs her home, all of these things. So it doesn't give her a lot of extra time to entertain Edward on the phone. And that creates fights because males' egos are so fragile that if they're not getting paid attention to, they start to have an attitude. And Edward, I know, is going to be that person, because not only is she, in my opinion, way out of his league, and he knows that. So he's interpreting her busy as her lack of desire for him. However, that's not the case. She is attracted to him in some shape, way, or form, but she's also a very busy executive and managing multiple things in her life.
Right.
But it has to be about him.
Right. And he's doing that even though she has been down there to visit multiple times throughout this process. So she's getting 100%, he's getting 100% of her attention when she goes down to visit, and he still can't stomach, you know, not having a daily conversation while she is working and taking care of her children.
Exactly. So she really cherishes her time in Bluebell. It's quiet, it's happy. She loves her big house. And one of the things that she does is she's spending time with her kids, and she sits them down, you know, to discuss Edward coming. And she's never let her kids meet any of her boyfriends before. And so she asked them how they feel about her having Edward come over, and they're excited because they're getting a dog. So she tied in the new man of the house with also a new animal, and that's why they've accepted it. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's where it is.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. Like, this is a responsibility and a bill. Like, the bill part is fine. She can afford it. But the responsibility of walking the dog and caring for the dog, like, the kids are not going to be the ones who consistently do it.
Oh my gosh, she's going to get a dog walker, Abby. She's going to get a dog walker for when she's not there. But the part that is concerning to me is how smart Derek, her 11-year-old, is. So Derek says, like, what is he going to be doing when he gets here? Will he have money when he gets here? He's going to have a job when he gets here? Like, what kind of jobs has he had in the past? This 11-year-old is asking this. Will he get an allowance?
Listen,
yes.
He needs to run the next tell-all.
100%. Because this little Derek is asking all the right questions, because guess what? He's not going to have any money. He's only worked in hospitality in his country. He hasn't traveled before. He has no world experience. When he gets there, he's not going to be able to work for the first little while, right? So she is going to have to support him. And she's even saying he is going to get an allowance. And guess what? He's going to get used to getting this allowance, and it's going to be more money than he's ever had. And that is not going to motivate him to get a job when he has to get a job. Then he's living in this big house. I'm trying to tell you, remember Molly and Louise?
Yes.
He is the new Louise as far as I'm concerned. He's coming to America because there's a huge Dominican community in New York City. He's gonna be vibing. He probably already has family here. I'm not in New York, but do you know what I'm saying? He has family, friends there. He's gonna get connected to the Dominican community. He's gonna have this sugar mama, and he's gonna get his green card, and he's gonna bounce the next day. I promise you, he's another Louise. I know it.
So I agree. I think that one of the things they're going to argue about is that, you know, she actually prefers spending her time in Pennsylvania. She's probably going to want him to be in Pennsylvania when he's going to want to be partying up in New York. But I like what Ryan said. since she's willing to go back and forth to DR, that could have just been her stationary vacation base. She did not have to turn this into a serious relationship. But who am I? What do I know?
That's absolutely it. What she should not have done, is she had the first fling, left him for 3 years, and then was going back and reached out to it. No, no. Find a new vacay bay and just keep it pushing. When you think you're getting feelings, you're actually not getting feelings. And now you're bringing this fool over to America to do what exactly? To get a little ding-a-ling? Because what else is he bringing to you? Because you don't need him at all.
Right.
Derek, her son, is nervous, really not ready for him to move in, because he doesn't know him. And his biggest concern is like, I don't want him to replace my dad, and I want you to take it slow, and I want him to take it slow. Like, I don't want him to be all up here, son, because I don't even know you. I was like, Marissa, you're doing something right, because this kid is smart, intelligent, articulate, and asking and saying the right things. He's communicating his feelings and his needs. And I was impressed that she said her boys are the priority in her life. And if this is not what they want in these 90 days, then she's going to have to call it quits. And that's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The live chat is popping. Okay. Is it Aisha? Is that how I say her name?
I said Asha, but honestly, I've heard both pronunciations.
Asha. I remember I wrote it up phonetically, but I didn't this time. Okay, I'm just gonna call her Asha then. Asha is going to be very interesting for me this season. What were your thoughts on her segment, Abby?
So, I have some immigration things to say. So I thought that her segment at least was bringing us a lot of really good technical information about the immigration process.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her godbrother Rod. The funniest thing was there's Nigerians right here in America. But her commitment to saying that this is what God told her is for her, and that she's going to keep on going after it because God ordained it. It's interesting. I would challenge it if I knew her. I would challenge it if I was around her, but I'm just here to go along for the ride. So, listen, Ryan, God ordained that wig that is on her head. That is the wig that God wanted her to have. And so, okay, now I'm looking at Olivia's comment. She said that Asha gives mockery vibes. Here's the thing, though. If you've ever been around Pentecostal people, this is how they are. This is not an exaggeration. So maybe it feels like a mockery because she's on TV and we have seen people mock spirituality, but this is Pentecostal. This is how they act. Like at any given moment, she's going to burst into tongues throughout her day. She's going to randomly pray. She's going to randomly shout, and she's going to insist that the tiniest details that happen in her life is because God wanted it. The light turned green for her as she was slowing down for the light. It suddenly turned green. That's what God wanted for her. That is Pentecostal people.
Like I said, I'm just gonna really have a hard time this season with her, and I think it's unfortunate because I do know that just Christianity in general has a lot of people saying a lot of things, and I know that a lot of people are non-believers because of Christianity and all the things that are going on in the world, and it's just not like that across the board. And so I'm having a hard time with it. That's all. So she's gonna go see an attorney about her immigration options, and she says that God is on her side and she can't understand why the immigration is denied, and she's enraged by it. And I would say that if she was a true believer, she would know that a closed door is a closed door. That's God speaking to you. So if God wanted this to happen, then it would have truly happened, right? Or if he didn't want it to happen and that door closed and the immigration got denied, maybe he's protecting you from something. So you can just flip it any other way. So I'm not sure why you're so enraged. I just don't understand it. And then so now you want an appeal, but you know, again, faith without works is dead. How did you research, or is this your research by going to this attorney? Because you just can't appeal a K-1 visa. I mean, I even know that. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to appeal it." To whom? The interview was in Nigeria, so who exactly are you appealing it to?
Yeah, that's the State Department. You're not appealing the State Department.
Right. And so she wants an appeal, and she wants another person to do the interview for them. And again, so you've learned nothing. So you're so faithful, but you've learned nothing. So you know that Maxwell and his best friend going to the interview together was a bad idea, and that's why I got turned down. But now you want an appeal so that they can go back together and do the same thing. Make that make sense. I don't understand it. So she is meeting up with her god brother Rod, and they're very, very close. And he's confused about the whole Maxwell situation, as am I, because he's like, I don't understand. Like, I've been trying to set you up with an American. You're like, no, no, no. And there are Nigerians right here. Like, what's happening right now? She thinks that Rod thinks that just Nigerians are all scammers, but he's making some good points. If you feel like your husband is Nigerian, like, why are you closed off to meeting Nigerians that are already right in front of your face? So, he's worried for her. He's worried for her safety. He's worried for the decisions that she is making, because all of it's unknown, right? You don't even know Maxwell. You guys got engaged after 3 days of knowing each other, and now you're like saying that God sent you him. I mean, God also gave you, and you're saying you have these gifts, right? You have the gift of prophecy, you have the gift of tongue. Clearly, you did not get the gift of wisdom. And I think that if you go to your Bible, if you're such a firm believer, then you would get wisdom. And this is not that. So Rod, her godbrother, goes on to say that maybe it got denied because the embassy knows something that we don't know.
Which happens, you guys. The embassy does not have to give us the exact reason why they deny any applications. But sometimes you will find out through other means that there was something else that they were investigating. I did a request on somebody's file because her visitor's visa was denied. And in the request, I was able to see through some of the things that were redacted, that there was a suspicion that she was a working girl, that she was a prostitute. Now, on her denial for the visa, it didn't say anything about that. They're not obligated to tell us that. But in the request for her full records, that came up only because it was not redacted properly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, and I'm going to elaborate on Abby's point as well shortly. The live chat is popping. Is Maxwell equally religious? She'd like to speak to the embassy manager. She could go find Michael in Texas if her husband is supposed to be Nigerian. You guys are funny.
They're right there in Alabama. Anywhere you want to find some Nigerians, you can. Okay.
You can find you a Nigerian friends. I was taking an Uber one time. My Uber driver was Nigerian, and when he found out I was Ghanaian, he was just like peppering me with questions. He thought I was his new girlfriend, and I was like, I'm just trying to get to my spot in my Uber. This is great. No, we can't exchange numbers. No.
I moved to Mexico and met a ton of Nigerians who were in engineering school in Mexico who didn't speak Spanish. They were just thugging it out.
Yep.
Like you can find Nigerians anywhere, but whatever, Asha.
So Rod, her godbrother, goes on to say that, this relationship that she's in is not realistic, even though she thinks it is. And she is determined to get Maxwell to the U.S. By any means necessary. No, she has a list of what her husband is supposed to be like, and the producers, because they're messy, they're like, go get the list. And it's extensive, and she had to stop herself because she's just going on and on. But no smoking, no drinking, no kids, great job, ambition, great lover, no big feet, good hygiene, God, but not a diehard God. And I thought that was interesting because she's coming across as super diehard, and everything is God said this, and the tongue and the prophecy and all this stuff. Understanding, organized, athletic build, wealthy. Is Maxwell wealthy?
Is Maxwell ambitious?
Right. Knows his purpose, good hair, pretty teeth, and loves God. I don't know, because we haven't met completely Maxwell, but I'm gonna tell you that some of these things I bet you don't even know. I don't know if he qualifies for the things on your list. So that's her list. They go to the love immigration. I wanted to know what Abby thought of that name.
It's his last name. I knew it was, but I looked it up just to make sure.
Oh, his last name is Love?
Yeah, his last name is Love, and he actually has two law firms. One is in Birmingham, and the other one is in Madison, Alabama. So yeah, they're a pretty large group. They have fantastic ratings, and he's been in business for over 10 years.
Awesome. And it's just helpful that he is in the love business as well. So she gets there, and you know what I just thought was funny, you guys, is that, and Abby, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the attorneys that I know, attorneys, doctors, and a few engineers, they just give me the facts. Like, give me the facts, and then I'm going to give you the law, and we can keep it pushing. But that's how those professionals that I know, that's how they are. Because she comes in, she sits down, and she says, my love story is really, really special. It was ordained by God. My fiance and my bestie and his bestie did the K-1 visas together, and they thought it was a scam. So then the visa got denied. So I'm here because I want to get an appeal process. And I didn't catch his name, but the attorneys, he just looked at her and said, "There's no appeal process." There is no appeal process to go through. And then she's like, well, I was hoping for an appeal. As if she says it, the more she says it, that he can change the law, Abby.
Right. People do this to us. People do this to us. I had somebody ask me before, like, can I work before I get my work permit when I come in on a fiancé visa? And I said, no. And they said, okay, but I just want to make sure. So you're saying that I can't work and I come in on a fiancé visa and I don't have my work permit yet? And I'm like, yeah, you can't work. And he's like, okay, but I looked it up on the internet and I was like, you know what? Do whatever you want. You don't want my opinion. Now I get bad reviews though. So sometimes I just say stuff because I get annoyed. But if you don't want to get bad reviews, you do exactly what this lawyer did and you just like, repeat what you said. But sometimes I will just tell people, I've already answered that. You clearly didn't come here to listen to what my advice was. So just do whatever you want. And then we just look at each other.
Well, he was definitely looking at her like just dead face, like so like, and that's all he said. And he's looked at her because she just kept continuing to say that she wanted to appeal. And so she's like, I was hoping for an appeal. And then he's like, here are your two options. He just ignored her for the third, fourth time. These are your two options. One, you can file another K-1 visa. And that could be up to a year and a half. Or two, you could get married and have a CR1 or CR1 visa.
Mm-hmm.
Spousal petition, and that could be up to 2 years. And then she did that because she's like, well, we've already spent thousands and thousands of dollars on the K-1 visa process. Is there a possibility that it can get denied? And here's what because she was not listening, she was just talking at him. Abby, this is the most important part that she missed. The lawyer said, because lawyers look up the information that you give to make sure that this is a viable case that they can take on. So he came in, even though this is a consultation, he did his homework because that's what lawyers do. They research. He said to her, and she didn't hear him. And I was like, this is the biggest part of it. He said, there are immigration issues in the past, either fraud or misrepresentation. And I literally wrote down, hello. She didn't hear it because she didn't want to hear it. So then I thought back to the first episode, Abby, where he tried to tell her that he was approved with this green card that was already pre-printed that we all know he did not get from the embassy. The embassy would USCIS would absolutely not allow you. It would be like me taking this piece of paper and saying that this is official paperwork. What was official was the one that had the actual crest on it. And he was denied the other, if you guys remember, and revoked. And I dare say, Abby, that he told her that he wasn't banned anymore. Remember, they banned him as well. I think he's still banned. I think he's trying to come in on a spousal visa and see if he can get around that. What are your thoughts, Abby?
I mean, that's possible. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible. It would be, I don't think they would spend their time banning him, to be honest. I think they would just say he's denied, but it's not impossible that happened. So
I think he already knew. I think he tried to get to US before and he was denied, and he's trying again and he's denied again.
Yeah. So one complication that happens that people don't really know to ask about is, have you previously applied for a visitor's visa? And what happens a lot, this is specific to Nigeria because the USCIS actually has a special division for Nigeria and rooting out fraud. Some of it is baseless and racist, but some of it is because there are certain issues that have arisen in applications from Nigeria that have been repetitive. Okay. So there's a special USCIS division that looks at applications coming out of Nigeria. And one of the things that we've had a problem with, they actually came and talked to the Nigerian embassy about it. You guys, I volunteer with Nigerian Center on Thursdays, is that visa agents are really rampant in Nigeria. And they will advise people to put on their applications when they're applying for a visitor's visa that they have a spouse, that they have children, even if they don't have them.
Oh.
And what ends up happening is that if they do get approved and come to the United States, and then let's say that, okay, they want to marry somebody now, well, you have to deal with the fact that your visa application already said that you were married.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with the fact that your visa application said that you had children. So if you had a prior visa application that was denied and it said that you were already married and you already had children, well, now you have to explain that. If you used real names, you have to produce some document saying that you're now divorced from that person or you were never married to that person.
Mm-hmm.
If you just made up names, there's been situations where somebody's here in the United States and they cannot get a real or fake divorce from the people listed on their visa application. So they're married to somebody here and they can't go through the spousal petition process because they can't get over what they did or the visa agent did. You know, the blame goes back and forth on that visa application.
That is crazy business.
Yeah. So I made a video several months ago. You guys, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I talk about immigration stuff here and there, specifically targeting Nigerians to stop using visa agents to fill out their applications, because I've had some people that I genuinely believe they did not look at their application. They just had the visa agent do it for them. And then some people are colluding with visa agents to be not truthful.
Mm. That is crazy business, y'all. Crazy business.
So if something like that happened with Maxwell, where he's previously applied for a visitor's visa or a student visa, and the information on that application does not match this new information on the K-1 visa, then it's a problem. And the reason why they have so much mismatch is because these Maxwell is filling out. The visitor's visa, the F-1, Maxwell's filling those out, or his visa agent, right? But the K-1 gets filled out by the petitioner. So if you don't give the petitioner the correct information, if you don't reveal everything in your past the petitioner needs to reveal on that application, then these are not going to match.
Heard it from immigration attorney, y'all. The last thing I want to say about her is, girl, just like go freeze her eggs. She's like, I'm 38. Her biological clock is ticking, so she's got no time for this. You have no time for what exactly? You spent 3 days with this fool, and so I just want to say, like, if God told you that this is your husband and told you that you are supposed to be a mother, then I don't understand what you're upset about, because isn't it in God's time? So your biological clock ticking should mean nothing because he's the God of miracles. Like, I'm just confused. I'm confused about what she's saying. Like, I'm just confused.
Right.
I am by far not the person that knows all the things, but when I don't, I ask questions. And in my belief in faith, you're saying some things that just doesn't sound right. You either believe or you don't believe. You're either in control or you're not in control. God's in control, you're in control. So I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Because
it's whatever she's feeling in that moment, Linda. Okay, I don't understand. You can't just get with this program.
That's why I feel like I'm not gonna have a problem with her, because she says some crazy outlandish stuff and doesn't listen to anybody. You have an attorney that's telling you it's not possible, but you're insisting it's possible. All right.
Well, you run into when you're talking to someone who is this deep in their faith, you're not talking to somebody who's able to think logically, because if they thought logically, they wouldn't be in the particular faith that they're in.
Well, I don't think that's true, because I too am a Christian and I feel like I can.
You're not Pentecostal.
Oh, so Pentecostal.
I'm specifically talking about, like, in this sentence, I am specifically like, if you were ever forced to go and listen to one of those sermons, you would hear contradiction after contradiction after contradiction. And somebody who thinks logically wouldn't be able to sustain that faith.
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to one.
Be careful, though. They pass around snakes sometimes, too. So I'm not even kidding.
Church?
Yes.
Oh.
So I do want to say two immigration things. One is if your K visa is denied and you want to apply for a new K visa, Jeremy Love probably said this, but maybe off camera, you're not going to go and apply for a new K1 just blind with the same information as the prior one. You want to build up your relationship. You can do that by having more visits with each other. If you can't afford to visit in other places, take trips other places, you want to do that. You want to spend more time with each other's family and each other's culture. So if there is a language difference, to learn the opposite languages. And you can also do things online together. There's so many programs where you can take classes together. Like a lot of colleges offer free classes. You can finish a course together. You can sign up for marital counseling together and then show all of those things that you did together as evidence of your time that you spend together to build on the relationship. But you never want to have a situation where your application is denied and then you just apply for a new one with the exact same information. Like you're not giving USCIS anything new to consider or the officer anything new to consider. So you want to take time to build that relationship. Also, applications are taken a lot less seriously if you've only met one time. One time is what's required. But if you have the ability to travel multiple times and you haven't, which like on a cursory glance of Asha's life and her house and her car, it looks like she should have been able to go back to Nigeria at least once in the past 2 years. It shouldn't have been one visit, right? So if they see your income and they see that you've only made one visit, they're going to be more skeptical about that relationship. So you need to do something different before the next petition or next application. And the other immigration thing, if you guys heard me say before, we talked about the K1 is the fiancé visa, and I said the IR1 is the spousal visa. In this episode, he called it the CR1. So those are the same thing, but the CR1 is the conditional 2-year, and the IR1 is the permanent 10-year. So they're both spousal visas, but if the marriage is younger than 2 years, then you start off with the CR1. If the marriage is over 2 years, then you go to the IR1.
Excellent information. Excellent information. Ryan has a question for you. Are the snakes in the Black Pentecostal churches too?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I want to say it wasn't this year. So maybe it was last year, maybe 2020. Like time has got away from me, right? I'm sorry. But there was an incident of a pastor who got bit by one of the snakes and he refused emergency services and made everybody pray over him because the prayer was going to remove the venom and he died. And of course they came up with some new belief or rationale to explain it. But yeah, they do it in the Black Pentecostal churches too.
I'm going to leave us with Silver Linings comment. Her eggs are fine. He gave Sarah a baby. Amen. Love it. Love it. You guys, thank you for hanging out with us today. I want you guys to have an amazing, if you are in America and you celebrate a long weekend, have an amazing long weekend. Be safe out in those streets. And we will see you guys very, 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 very soon. It is Gemini season, and I will be celebrating for the next 2 weeks. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye.